Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Doing real good. So, Andy, you've got a brand new song called Wanna Make You Love Me. I like it, man. It's a pretty cool tune.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Now, you are, people may not be aware of this, but you are also the writer on a song that some folks may be familiar with that Jason Aldean and Kelly Clarkson performed called Don't You Want to Stay?
That is correct.
So tell us about that one. Now, what was the inspiration on that one?
Well, we sat down and we wanted to write a song that your average guy would, really relate to and that a girl would really understand. Like, what would a normal guy say to a girl? A guy that's not a poet, that's not a songwriter.
Right.
Something that your average Joe would be able to say to someone that basically would mean, I want to be with this person forever.
Gotcha.
And we had that hook. My buddy Paul actually came in with that hook, Don't You Want to Stay? And it's just so, like, normal language. We wanted to keep it, like, everyday, non-poetic, like, songwritery sounding speak.
Right.
And it took us a long time, actually, to write it in such a simple way. I mean, I was in one radio station, and they found out that I had written a song, and one of the programmers said, "Oh, hey, that's that 6-word song, right?" And I was like, "What? 6 words?" And I started counting. I'm like, "Well, yeah, pretty close." Because it is so simple. It's just like, okay, this is something that your average Joe would really say, because we don't have all the words to express all of the things that we want to, tell somebody we love, or the way that we feel all the time. But I think that, especially for somebody like Jason, who's kind of like, the country boy, the tough guy, always singing the rowdy songs. I think for him, it fits so perfectly. And, when he heard the song and wanted to turn it into a duet, it blew our minds, because we hadn't even thought of it in that direction. and it really took it and just, like, elevated it, took it to the next level, with her being on the song with him, making it a duet. We couldn't even have imagined how much better that made it.
And then next thing you know, you've got a multi-week #1, Don't You Want to Stay, with Jason and Kelly Clarkson. Pretty impressive.
It's hard to believe. I'm still, like, awestruck. I can't even believe it.
Please keep playing it. Royalties. I need royalties.
What's it called? Mailbox money? You know
exactly.
What? It's funny, because that's like the last thing you're thinking about when you're writing a song. It's just, but it's not a bad side effect.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
There's worse side effects to things that we do in life.
I'm going to talk to you about somebody else who knows about mailbox money in just a little bit. Let's find a little bit more about Andy Gibson. You're from Washington, the state of Washington, right?
Yeah, I was born in Spokane, Washington.
We're gonna do a 5 and 10. You probably never done this, but in a roundabout way, I'm sure you have. 5 questions. You answer them in 10 seconds. It usually takes a little bit longer, so don't worry about the timer. Okay?
10 seconds for each question?
No, it's usually the whole thing, but it's going to take a little bit longer. It's okay. Favorite color?
Blue.
Car, truck, or SUV?
SUV.
What kind?
Oh, Suburban.
All right, very good. Favorite sport?
Ooh, surfing.
Cool. Musical influence?
Oh, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I'm loving this. And finally, favorite food?
Oh, pizza.
Pizza. It's interesting you bring up pizza, because I understand that you can do just about any type of job imaginable.
Oh, no, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is here, maybe...
Are you looking for someone?
Well, you know what I'm thinking, that is, maybe we do this contest. Maybe we could do this on a national basis, Sure. If you have an issue, call Andy Gibson.
If your heating and air breaks down, if you have a party and need it catered with pizza, if there's a blockage in your toilet.
Now, this is, to be serious now, you have installed AC units. You've done carpentry work. You've hung the drywall thing.
Indeed, I have.
You've done graphics designing. You've been a deckhand. You've made pizzas. Singer, songwriter.
Right. That's it. You know what? You got to learn how to make money when you're trying to get in the music business, because that's the wrong place to try and make money. You have to look for other avenues or sources of income, definitely.
But I know that at a young age, your parents were into flipping houses. So that's where,
we kind of did it before it was popular, and we didn't even know what was going on. We just knew that we had to work all the time.
Yeah.
Try to stay at school as long as possible, and we would just pray that my dad would have to work on Saturday because it was up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah,
Dad, it's still dark outside. It's Saturday.
Yeah,
come on.
What's going on? So you got to learn how to use the hammer pretty quickly then, huh?
Oh yeah, I wasn't really into like toys, G.I. Joes, and stuff like that when I was a kid, because all I really wanted was the leftover lumber that we had and hammers and nails, and I would just build my own forts in the backyard. That's what I like doing. I mean, because I saw my dad doing it all the time, and I just wanted to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
Every little boy wants to grow up to be like his dad,
Yeah. You talk about your dad. I know that he was one of your I wouldn't say a musical influence, but I mean, music has always been a big influence, though, in your life, though. And I know your dad had part to do with it, right?
Yeah, definitely. My dad was a musician when he was younger, and had a big hit on a record called The Endless Summer that was a soundtrack for a famous surf movie when he was only 14. And, I grew up with him playing music. Every day he'd come home and he'd pull out his bass or his guitar, and he'd play along to his favorite music. And so, of course, I would want to go in the office and play along with him, either like on the drum pad with some drumsticks, or I would make little guitars out of cigar boxes and bass molding and stuff like that, rubber bands, and like pretend that I was playing. And eventually they got me a guitar when I was, a little older, and I just, I was always around it. It was just a lot of fun, and my parents would let me make as much noise as I wanted in the house. It was funny. Like, they didn't care if I had a drum set or if I had a Marshall stack cranked up to 11. They loved it. They didn't really. I mean, most kids' parents were like, cut that racket out. But my parents, they encouraged it. They saw something that I loved and that I enjoyed, and luckily they were approving of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic, because you're right. Most parents would just say, hey, yeah, let's go, move it, out, I
take it somewhere else.
That's when they would purposely ask you to go to a friend's house, right?
Yeah, like, don't you have a friend that you want to be in a band with who has a garage? He's not attached to our house. Yeah.
Oh, man, that is too cool. Hey, by the way, we're talking with Andy Gibson on the K-Tex Artist Spotlight here. Andy Gibson, you talk about the guitar, you talk about your dad's musical influence.
Mm-hmm.
How far back does the Gibson name go in music? It's not like any relation to the Gibson guitar now, is it?
Unfortunately, no. I wish it was, because I do love Gibson guitars.
Yeah.
I play Gibson acoustic guitars and Epiphones, and they're excellent instruments. But unfortunately, no.
No. Well, all right. Well, that's all right.
Our family was more involved with bagpipes than guitar.
Gotcha. So let me ask you something. Let's kind of take you back a couple of years. Born in Spokane, Washington, I know that you traveled in places where you lived, because I know you lived in the Las Vegas area. And
we lived there for a long time.
Eventually you end up going to Nashville. And whenever you go to Nashville, and this is a big misconception of a lot of people, is that you go to Nashville and poof, all of a sudden you become a superstar and you're a singer and life is great. But in reality, though, you actually had to be working at a restaurant. Actually, I think it was a Mexican restaurant, and you know Spanish, don't you?
Yeah, I speak Spanish.
How much Spanish do you know?
Pues, ¿cuánto quiere escuchar?
I've been waiting for that. I have been waiting for that.
Ándale, hermano. Yeah, I know enough to where most people don't believe me that when I say that I'm a gringo. You know.
Hey, let me ask you: is there a Spanish song that you could just like whip out and boom like a drop out of a hat?
Oh, I mean,
I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just asking.
yeah. I mean, I actually would translate a lot of songs into Spanish just for fun to kind of keep up my Spanish, and because there was some country songs. I mean, I feel like Latin music, to me, the format is a lot more like country music. It's about like real people stories and romance and things that like your average Joe can really understand. And I feel that that's like a similar format to our country music here.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take songs and I would translate them. So actually, I was playing in a Mexican restaurant there down in Nolensville here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I translated the song "Don't You Want to Stay" by Big and Rich into Spanish. And that's when John Rich walks into the restaurant, and I was like, uh-oh. Hey, the light bulb went off, and that kind of hurt because that never happened before. No. And I see John Rich walking in there, and I just thought to myself, wait a second, this is my VH1 behind the music, like backstory, isn't it? Oh my gosh, here I go. And I cranked it up and let it fly, and he loved it. And so that song was just so beautiful and landed itself to Spanish so easily. And I think that that was kind of like a turning point for me. I went from being a janitor and a waiter and singing in a Mexican restaurant to writing songs for one of the best songwriters in Nashville overnight.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was overnight in that respect, but there was a lot of nights before that in Nashville cleaning bathrooms and waiting tables. But, they always say that, what is it, like a 7.5 year to a 10-year overnight success story.
Right,
on
right.
average.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what it was about there. It was, I'm a pretty good average.
So you're sitting there at a Mexican restaurant singing a Big and Rich song that you've just translated into Spanish. John Rich walks in. John had to look at you going, what in the heck is going on over there?
Yeah.
Did he come and talk to you afterwards saying...
Oh, he jumped up on stage when I was playing the song and started playing along.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got pictures of it. There were some friends there who would come to the restaurant that night, and they were able to take a couple pictures of it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they couldn't believe it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a famous dude up on stage with our friend who's like a total loser." Now we're like here because we feel sorry for him, and now he's playing on stage with a famous person.
That is so cool. That is
man.
so
it was just,
cool.
It was crazy, and he played a couple more songs because John is such an entertainer.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
The guy knows every song ever written, not even just country music. He's
True.
just he's a real songbook. And he got up there and played a couple songs, and then we had a nice conversation, met up for lunch a little while later, and he listened to the music that I had been writing because he heard some of the other songs that I was playing that night, because I would play some originals, and then I would play some tunes that I had found from other companies.
Yeah.
And, he really loved my ear for songs and for the songs that I had written, and signed me to write for his company for about 3 years there. So,
just like that.
Bada bang, bada boom. Don't You Want to Stay is right there it's in his catalog now.
The brand new single from Andy Gibson is called "Wanna Make You Love Me." We're gonna listen to that. Andy, we thank you for your time, man. This has been a big pleasure. It really is.
Thank you so much, Jojo. It's so great to talk to you, and so excited to be a part of your show.
You betcha. I don't think we've ever had the manager, the janitor, and the collection agency all on at once. Andy Gibson, "Wanna Make You Love Me." Check it out, because you are also on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook. It's Andy Gibson Official on Facebook.
Okay.
And my Twitter feed is, you can follow me at Andy Gibson.
All right, very cool. Website, I know that there's a website.
Yeah, AndyGibson.com.
There we go.
You can go there to get connected to all of my social media networks: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff.
As a matter of fact,
to see all of the photos and video that we have.
As a matter of fact, the video for "Want to Make You Love Me" is also on there, and want to make sure that you go over there and check it out. And by the way, there's somebody lying in the bed. Who is that? Do you know her?
No, she was just there.
Oh, okay, cool. Must be nice. I just got up out of my bed, and there's this other girl in my bed. I don't know who she was.
No. No, we actually had to hire her, you know. Yeah.
Really?
Union scale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything's
okay.
union in Nashville.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But seriously, yes. It's one of those things, making a music video, it can be like, you know, it can be weird and awkward if you're not used to acting, but there's such a great set and so many cool people on the set. It just was a lot of fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was something I felt like really elevates the song and takes it and adds a lot more to it than just a song.
Yeah.
Which I think a video should.
Was this like in an actual apartment, or was it just like some warehouse or something? Did y'all recreate
It's interesting because we rented somebody's house, and they pull up a moving van. They take everything out of the house. Then they pull up another moving van that the set designer has, and it's this gal named Ruby, who's actually been on this television show, American Pickers. She pulls up with her van full of stuff, and she redecorates the whole house.
Wow!
And it was awesome. You know, she's a big Hollywood set designer. She does a lot of the Tim Burton movies and all kinds of movies. I mean, she's just so talented. And she moved out to Nashville because she wanted to get out of the Hollywood area. Because I think probably because of real estate, because she's kind of a collector of things. But, you know, she has huge warehouse, and it's full of really cool stuff. She just did such a great job giving it the vibe of someplace that, you know, I would actually live in. So it was pretty cool, man.
That's pretty neat, man. I'm just wondering, though, number one, how in the world can you be in the living room singing when she's in the bedroom laying down? That's one. Number two, is that reel to reel really working, or is somebody actually having to spin that thing around?
You know, a funny story, that is actually my dad's reel to reel, and on there is his, you know, one of the board mixes from his record that he recorded with RCA Records back in the 1970s.
Holy mackerel, isn't that something?
Yeah, you know, I put a lot of little touches in there. I brought a lot of my own stuff to put in the house. Like, there's a thermos, a Stanley thermos there. Oh, I mean, that's kind of mixing brands, right? But there's a Stanley kind of insulated drink container on the counter. And, you know, my dad had one of those all the time when I was a kid growing up. And I just put a lot of little things in there that are memories from my past.
That is so
in my
neat.
life. And because I wanted to, like, you know, I want to watch a video when it's someone else's video and go back and catch little details that I didn't notice before. There's a guitar sitting in the music room. A lot of those, I mean, instruments and things are my equipment, but one of them sitting there has the Eagles signed the whole guitar. And it's sitting in the corner there. So you can, like, pick up their names on the guitar. And
is that the black one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of cool little details, and that's what I want to go back and see a video and not necessarily even look at the artist that's in the video, but look at the environment and see what's in there. Yeah.
You know, in the early stages of the video, the girl actually looks like Taylor Swift when she first walks in the room.
Yeah, she does a little bit, and you know, she was like 6 foot tall, or like 6'1" or something. She was a tall girl.
Yeah. And bony.
Yeah, I mean, she was a real pretty girl, and she does kind of have a Taylor Swift vibe going on there.
Yeah, you know, later on in the video, though, once you see her on the bed, and then the outside in the porch scene, she doesn't. But at first, when she first walks in, though, very, very Taylor Swift-esque, if you will, you know. That's pretty cool.
I think it's because she got that big smile, you know, and Taylor's always smiling.
Yeah. That is so neat.
She's such a nice girl, you know. So it was a lot of fun, you know. We had such a great time making that whole thing come together. And the director that we worked with, you know, David McClister, is just such a talent. And I mean, I always loved his videos. And when I saw that for example, when I saw that band Perry, If I Die Young video,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it just took the song and really kind of pushed it over the edge for me to where I was like, okay, I really like this song a lot, and this video just made me, love this song.
That is cool.
So I wanted that to happen with my, music. I wanted my music to really be kind of expounded upon and kind of brought to the next level with the imagery of a music video. And David really, he has such a great way of capturing things that you don't even know is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the music video after he edits it, and it's like, holy cow, I didn't even know that was going on. Wow, I never would have thought of that. Was I really doing that?
That's cool. That's cool.
CG.
Andy Gibson, so real quick, what are your plans for the holidays? What are you planning on doing? You going back to Washington?
I'm going to Kansas City. My family lives out in Kansas City now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
After years in Vegas, they wanted to get back to a smaller town and the country. And so they moved out probably about 45, 50 minutes north of Kansas City in a little place called Gallatin, Missouri.
Sweet.
And so I'm going out there. I got my 12 nieces and nephews are in town. It's going to be crazy. There's dogs running all over. There's kids running all over.
Totally get
that one. It's going to be
one.
a mess. And that's what we like for Christmas, right?
Absolutely. Andy Gibson, thanks for the time, brother. Greatly appreciate you spending some time with us here on KTEX.
Oh, anytime you ever need me, you just call.